Let me first ask you about, I think of Hugo Boss as the place to go when I need to go to a formal occasion, buy a tuxedo, or if I need a suit, obviously. What do you want to change about that? And maybe am I too old to be your key demographic?
No, you're right on. Whenever you need a sharp suit, Hugo Boss is still there to serve you. But we have to recognize that our industry has changed. The trend to casualization has clearly improved. Just walking through the Bloomberg office, I didn't find too many people wearing a tie, but that's okay. Hugo Boss will dress you on all of these occasions, but to do that, we have to improve our business system. And these were the plans we presented yesterday to the capital markets here in London.
Good morning to you, Mark. So you're in London, I'm in London. I'm very focused on the political story here. Clearly you sell your clothes all over the world, but the UK is an important market to you. How important is the UK? Give us a percentage, and what concerns do you have about Brexit?
Well, that's true. The UK market is now our second largest market behind Germany and Europe, and it has demonstrated strong growth for us. We are, of course, concerned about potential restriction when it comes to sort of a free movement in our goods, the implication of customs, and like many other international operating companies, we are preparing for these scenarios. But I'm quite confident also from the latest trading trends that we've seen in the UK. There's a strong domestic demand for our products. It still remains one of the top travel destination for international visitors, and we don't see a current trend change to these trends.
How difficult are tariff regimes to deal with already, Mark? I mean, what kind of tariffs are you looking at when you're shipping clothes in and out of the U.S., shipping products in and out of Asia?
Actually, we have seen the opposite in the recent years. The fashion industry is clearly one of the most internationally connected, as raw materials are being shifted across the world, finished goods are produced globally. So this is a clearly globally integrated industry. And what we have seen is in China, in some other important markets for us, rather a reduction in tariffs that had eased up dealing international trades. So of course there have been discussion also how much fashion will be affected by the discussion ongoing negotiation between the US and China. But so far in day-to-day management we have not seen any relevant change in trade or custom regimes for us.
That's interesting, Mark. I saw one of my colleagues write a story yesterday that characterized your new plan, your new strategy for Hugo Boss as wanting to become Zara for the banking set. I wonder if that's a comparison you appreciate or object to.
Well, I read this comparison as well, but I think what we stressed significantly yesterday at the Capital Markets Day are two priorities. One is the importance of speed in our industry. To become far more responsive to serve our customers is also important in the premium and upper premium segment. And what we presented yesterday is already our ability to develop collections significantly faster than the past. So as part of our Hugo collection, we are now operating with lead times that are less than 8 weeks between design start until we are ready to go into production. And these are clearly capabilities that have been demonstrated rather in fast fashion and are now moving into our premium segment as well. So I'm quite excited about the opportunity to get even closer to fashion trends in our market segment, and it will be one of the competitive features of our business model to achieve our 2022 financial targets.
So here we see your revenue breakdown by region. Asia is trailing the Americas, obviously trailing Europe as well. How do you want this pie picture to change, Mark? I mean, how much more can you do in Asia with such a growing class of wealthy people that care about things like their suits?
Well, we've seen a very strong momentum the last 4 quarters in the Chinese markets, and we are committed to accelerate this growth path going forward. So China and Asia as the total going to contribute to our expectation a double-digit growth for the next 4 years. So the relative share of Asia will increase from the 15% you just showed on the chart to around 20% by 2022. It's retail expansion, and it's an enormous opportunity to use e-com as an important sales channel in the Asian markets, where we have demonstrated our abilities in Europe with the digital concession we have now announced with Zalando, that we not only work successfully with our own HugoBoss.com platform, but we are also a very advanced partner on multi-brand digital concession business models, an important business model to be successful in China.
Mark, I recently moderated a conversation between the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, Burberry, H&M were on the panel, and we were talking about how to make the model for the fashion industry more circular, how to stop the level of environmental degradation that it produces, I suppose, to design and manufacture with low waste, increase recycling, to try and stop incineration and the like. What efforts are you making at Hugo Boss?
Well, we also signed this commitment from the Copenhagen Fashion Summit. So we see sustainability as a very important trend in our industry, and it's also an increasingly important reason to buy or to engage with brands. And Hugo Boss, as you might know, is one of the very few companies which are included in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index now for the second time. So we do both. I think that's an important part to reduce waste by moving more into a circular economy, which means that pre- and post-consumer waste is increasingly turned into a raw material. And I just visited a partner of us in Hong Kong that has demonstrated in a very interesting way how we can use this material to turn it into new fabrics. And the other part is, as part of our collection, we introduced, for example, the first vegan sneakers, which is made from, instead of leather, it's made from pineapple leaves, a very interesting material. And this sneaker received a very strong reception also from our end consumers. So I believe we're on the right way to create exciting products which are being produced in a far more sustainable way than before.
What kind of traction, Mark, do you expect to get from this comeback? I mean, I know you want to raise sales to 5 to 7% in the next 4 years. I know you want to raise margins to, I think, from 12 to 15%. The stock, if I look at it over the last 5 years, is down 20% compared to a CDAX that's up 30%. How much traction do you think you can get for shareholders?
I believe we delivered a very solid and ambitious plan yesterday. We have been very clear on our top-line growth drivers. And as some analysts quoted after the Investor Day, now it's down to execution. So we need to establish a track, which we already did over the last 2 years, to deliver on our promise. Now we have to deliver on our ambition to start growing top line and to demonstrate our ability to bring structural profitability, as you just said, from a 12 to a 15% EBIT margin. Our first quarter 2019 will be our first scorecard in a way to demonstrate tangible progress against this target. I think that's not us. For us as a management team, now it's time to deliver.